And Stephanie and everyone, please feel free to monitor the chat. I know folks don't have microphones, so if you do have questions, feel free to type them in there. And if I miss them, bring my attention to those at first breaks. Welcome, everyone. Congratulations on getting through in-service week and ready for the start of the fall semester. It's always an exciting time, and I'm glad to see so many of you online. Get the summer without all the faculty around. So today's agenda, we have condensed to 1 hour, so we're gonna fly through pretty quickly. But like I said, we do have 10 minutes for each of these bullets here on the agenda. Some important updates, and there will be another 10 minutes at the end for questions and answers. I just wanted to give you a little snapshot, and these are numbers actually as of yesterday from the first WebEx we did. We have over 6,300 students enrolled in Front Range online courses this fall. That's across under 200 online courses and 180 individual sections. So some of those courses have more than one. 7 are taught by full-time faculty, and twice that are taught by instructors. So I think that's showing how much our program has grown over the last years since the first email courses were offered. It's also important to note is that online courses are an area of growth, and students enrollment at the college as a whole is down a little bit, as it is across the system, is to be expected. The economy is improving, which is great, but we also know historically that as the economy improves, folks work and enrollment in community colleges tends to go down. That activity and have lots of students who resource, and online plays a really special role in that because it gives students the flexibility to finish education while going back to work. Highlight some changes for this fall. I wanted to start with some good news, which is that as part of the goal to raise faculty salaries, there is higher pay for faculty. Again this year, and the pay rates for courses also increased, which is fantastic and where we should be directing our money. However, because enrollment is down a little bit across the board, budgets are lower, which means they have fewer discretionary funds. So to give you a heads up that our approach for dealing with that is that we are still working on offering as many training and support opportunities as possible. So we've got coding, lots of different workshops, all those kinds of things, and you're welcome and encouraged to take advantage of those. We are going to have fewer meetings and fewer training opportunities. In the past, we've had approximately 8 hours set aside for each part-time instructor who teaches online learning to participate in meetings and training, and we cut that down to 6 hours for this coming year. So that with as little impact as possible, we shortened the in-service, so we have been meeting 4.5. We're down to an hour now, and that worked great yesterday, so hopefully that'll be the same today. And if you have training needs for your department, if they're required, pay for those. Work with chair if you feel like there's training that you really need paid for because it's critical for your job. Sometimes available just a little bit less than we had before. I also wanted to make everyone aware that we have a couple of special deliveries coming up soon. Hopefully not in my case, but I'm expecting a baby September 1st, and we'll be going maternity leave as soon as I know we're having a boy, but we haven't finalized any or anything yet. So I'll let you all know that you will be in good hands while I'm out. April Menzies, our line chair, will be stepping to enroll while I am out, and so she can take all your needs that way. And I also want to congratulate Stephanie Wickman, who has gotten going this morning. She's also expecting a baby towards the end of September, and she has plans with her team so that we're all covered. So just wanted to let you know about our exciting news, and if you're trying to get redirected to whoever can help you out. So our has been every year, but continued focus on student success. Listen to the different presenters. You'll see about a lot of different initiatives, and they all really funnel into 3 different aspects of student success. Students, and so more learning is a really attractive option for students, especially if they're going back to work. Chico Garcia, our Director of Student Success, about that online enrollments are actually, this week, slightly last year, and that trend. We've also noticed that we have a combination of CCC online courses. Currently a little bit down. We think that's a combination of register, and we're doing some things to make our front range online courses. But you're hearing from your leads and your chairs about ways that we want to increase our course offerings in some areas where front range hasn't offered courses before. So if you have ideas of courses that you think would be attractive to students, and about your program with your leads and your chairs on those kinds of things. We also have initiatives on helping train students. The great fact that is, of our research is that students who take both online and on-campus courses are trained at college at a higher rate than students doing only online or only on campus. And so, I think, again, it's a great way to support our students in reaching their long-term goals and college as a whole. And then finally, helping students succeed in those courses. We play a part, and then we're also looking at all of the support services that students need. We're about ready to start the fall semester, and great faculty and instructors, and really the linchpin, the critical piece that makes a difference in student success. You're working with students every day, and your presence in the classroom is critical. But I have Myrnie wrote up here. She won the math teacher, outstanding online master teacher last ladder, along with Padre Gallagher, who I didn't have a picture of. But something that students about Myrnie and the common element of all the nominations is that math teachers focus on students. They make that live connection. Students feel like their instructor cares about them. They're reaching out to them and helping them learn in ways that make sense to them, that make the content meaningful. And it's really easy, especially as we're getting ready and trying to get our course shells ready, to be focused on course content, which is important, but your role as a teacher is really what makes the difference. Trying to read a textbook or absorb content on your own to you really learn and assimilate that content into your life. So congratulations to our managers and all of the many folks who were nominated. Well over 50 folks who were nominated, which is a lot. Students took their time to go ahead and submit those nominations. And I encourage you all to think of ways and share ways that you've discovered to be present online. I know I was just talking with our instructional coach this morning, Eric Sahab, and it's so easy to engage students in a face-to-face classroom. Walk in, you say hello, this monitor face, or those kind of things can really help establish presence instantly. How do we do that in the online environment? And many of you have found ways to do that well. Let's keep sharing ideas and reflecting ways we can even increase that sense of presence. I'd like to ask you all to help us identify other ways we can improve the student experience. Things from that we got started last year that have been a huge success. We're looking at things like online proctoring for those students who can't come to a physical location, tutoring, all kinds of things. So keep those in mind and listen to the ideas and updates of what the rest of the team is working on. So I will to April Menzies, our online chair and our dean here coming up for the next few months to start talking about some of the instructional initiatives.
Mike. Thank you, Tammy. I just wanted to take a few minutes to acknowledge the other chairs that I work with and just all the work that they've put in over the summer to get us ready for the fall. It's a great team, and I'm really happy and thankful to be a part of it. So if I can figure out how to move the slides, we'll get going. That wasn't the right button. Select that tab. Just that one. There you go. Okay, I'm on the right one. Okay. We have added a few new chairs over the summer. Kathy Mans, our chair for the Arts, Humanities, and Communications team, retired. And so Deb Throgmorton bravely stepped on to fill those shoes. And she is the chair for folks in the art, Spanish, English, journalism, literature, communication, and interior design programs. And the colors, for those of you who may be how that came about, actually just refer to a highlighted color band on an organizational chart that we created a few years ago, and at that time just sort of adopted those colors as team colors, and we kind of ran with that. It's a little bit easier to say gold team or the green team as opposed to these graphic labels that we have. So forget communications that have a color in them. You're likely part of that color team. We added a fourth chair position over the summer, and Corey Ranking is setting up the gray team, which is the social and behavioral sciences. I've heard rumors that they're the only team that got to choose a color, and I've heard that it's because they don't see things in black and white in that department. So I don't know if that's true or not, but he is serving as the lead for the programs in his department. And you can see that the social sciences, the leads there, all report through Corey. Is the math, science, allied health team. It's a fairly well-established group by Farah Bani, and you can see is serving as the lead for 3 programs or disciplines in her area, include all of the allied health and science courses that we offer online. Got the green team, and the green team has undergone some changes. The social science group and have established a team on their own, and so this is the business education and technology team. A lot of great folks there. And Eric is saying that philosophy isn't on anybody's list. You do belong on Deb's team, the gold team, and off some other notes. So we'll make sure that we get those team lists updated. But for anybody in the philosophy or humanities area, so that you are very much part of our teams, you're part of the gold group, and move forward. Talk a little bit about what these are going to focus on, and there's a lot of collaboration and cooperation and friendly competition among these teams. As Tammy said, we're all focused on those 3 goals of attracting students, retaining students, and helping our students be successful. And to that end, this year, you'll find your chairs and your leads are going to be working on course development. We're at both and short-term plans. Classes are we offering? What offering? Classes do we need to be thinking ahead about developing, either to help mitigate space concerns on the physical campus or to make degrees and certificates accessible students online. Pretty short time frame for plans together. We need, our companies need to have our plans ready to go fairly fall. So we're asking the suggestions you have for course development, please talk to your online leads about that. The leads will submit the proposals on September 5th. So if you have feedback, share that with us sooner rather than later. So we've also, if you haven't noticed, been trying to increase our response rate on some of our current practice. Think the course confirmation forms, which you guys did a fantastic job on getting those turned around. We've had the best response rate ever in the history of the department. We're working on track in a friendly way of who's got the most ready ones, course ready to go. So we are keeping track of those things because we think those are important factors for students to be successful. Be looking for that. Course reflections, a big part of not be successful and figure out what's going well in our classes or what needs attention, but also a way of teaching a really receptive and fulfilling process for instructors as well. We introduced that concept in the past 2 years. We really tied those course reflections to course quality guidelines. It kind of made those reflections seem like they were pretty long. So here we're focusing on streamlining that process, but to get across this idea that every year we're going to, as a group, to take some time and sit down and think about our classes and think about our practice. And, what do I feel good about? What I'd like to do, kind of, a lot of my colleagues and I talk about our bucket list for our classes. These are all of the things that we do, given time and energy and lacking curve on a few things. But reflect on what's going on. And that's really an important professional development opportunity. It's absolutely viewed as a growth or a place for us to learn, not in any way as a measure, but just, how we help each other to make our class better, help our students be successful, and help us feel we're growing as professionals as well. All of that is, as Tanya alluded to, budgets are a little tighter this year, and we were fortunate to be able to pay people extra for doing the course reflections during our first 2 pilot years. This year, we're not able to pay for that process. So to be really clear, we're still doing the reflections, not going to take as long, but we're not going to pay for them either. So move on quickly from that. We wanted to talk with you about the idea. I think of our online group in several ways. And as defined by Seth Godin, one of the thought leaders in the world of entrepreneur and particularly online entrepreneurship, is a group of people connected to one another, connected to a leader, and connected to an idea. And I looked at that definition and I thought about our online classes. It makes sense to me that our students are choosing to be part of this group. You're the linchpin, and our disciplines are the ideas around which that time is organized. So think of us as a tribe, not only in terms of what happens in our own classes, but also as a group of practitioners who are committed to making education a successful experience for our students. So the group, or the online tribe, this great thing that we're all part of, as we recognize that professional development is important, and although we've had to trim that budget a bit, we still want to make sure you have the chance to stay connected. And to the end, we decided to trim the timeline on our web or in services, just like this one, at the beginning of each semester. So we're going to do those things, just not as long. The other feedback that we got was that the face-to-face in service that we've been for the past 2 years in January is really important to people, that to meet in and see one another and put a face to a name is really important for us, and so we don't want to lose that. Just budget is shrinking a bit. So again, we may trim that back to a half day, order in service, but we are still planning to have that available in January. Finally, if you have additional training needs for you as an individual, please be in touch with your online chair about those needs, because we do take supporting our team very seriously, and we may have the ability to do that. So we want you to rule things out early. We don't rule things out if we don't have to. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, I think, who's our next presenter. But we hope you have a great fall semester. And if any way that your online chairs can be helpful to you, please reach out to us.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks. The there is myself with the online retention specialist, and just want to remind you that we're here for you and for the students and learning with faculty, and it can to help students successful through what they're facing throughout the semester. So, a quick reminder, if you don't know, in the picture with me there is Andy Ornberg, who's at the Larimer campus at ICE, Westminster, and Kim Moore is at Boulder County. So please reach out to us, continue to reach out to us. It's great working with the faculty to collaborate on success initiatives. Victor, and behind the scenes, and a lot of what we do is Heather Dieshog, and so you may see emails or getting phone calls. Heather, who does a lot of the behind the scenes work for us as well. One of we get to work with you all through early alert, and we are continuing to monitor early alert and evaluate its effectiveness from semester to semester. And we're trying very small pilots with initiatives to see what may have the greatest impact on student success. Early alert is one of our primary initiatives, and one thing I know is that the data has told us over the past few semesters that the better chance they have to be successful in that particular class. So this is really asking if students alerted within the first 2 weeks if possible, and no later than the third week, which ends September 5th for 15-week courses. The dates are obviously different for late start classes, and we'll send target emails to instructors teaching late start classes, but really that 2 weeks is going to be our target for early alert. There's a link in the email. I actually sent the email out today. There's a link in the email, and also you'll see a link in your D2L class to connect to early alert as well. So if you have questions on this later, you can reach out to one of the retention specialists or myself. Smart tool that we haven't used to its capacity over the last few years, and we want to kind of re-engage this tool and see if we can get students using it and maybe more faculty using it as well. So if you're doing online learning, you can see a link that says our online class is right for you, and at the bottom of that next there's a take a free self-assessment tool, and this is a tool that can just give us a lot of information and gives the students a comprehensive review of where they stand in many areas, reading levels, technology level, motivating, and others. So I'd first of all recommend you try it out yourself, and then consider how you might use either the whole assessment or even a particular piece of the assessment in your class. The data you can gain is valuable. So other ways in the college to really look in level or the reading after assessment has went away, and so this is another way to student reading. does typing skills and other things like that too. So it's a great tool and something we can to invest in a little bit more. A little bit earlier, and I want to say here, please, if you're in an area where proctored exams are required, please tell those requirements in your syllabus, and then also a couple of weeks before to happen, give them a reminder of what we need to do and reaching out to the testing center if they are going to be, taking an exam that's proctored. Some may be able to come to campus to do those exams, and so we have invested this summer in some online proctoring services. ProctorU and Smarter Proctoring are that we work the most closely and receive some feedback from you all in from that we received. So we will make a decision soon on a service to partner with this fall. Obviously, can do proctoring from a distance at libraries or other schools and things as well. So, looking for probably coming out soon about a partner with one of these. And then just to let you know, proctoring impact enrollment, and we got lots of students through advising. Students are choosing FRCC Online specifically because they don't have proctored exams, and so into that a lot now. But I know Eric has offered to talk to instructor or faculty member about to proctor exams. So maybe to take to have questions about that. And then the last about is tutoring. So online all classes are eligible for tutoring. However, each campus does have different requirements to add tutoring. So all putting together a little student access tutor process through each campus, and out to you all. That's a suggestion from last night. So I'll get that out to you all. By the end of this week for sure, just to so you pass it along to your students. Also, the system office has a partner company called BrainFuse to do tutoring for this upcoming year, and so that's something we may break in as well, just in coordination with the campus tutoring. So we'll be working what that might look like in fall semester. Hopefully, it's something we can offer doing. So that's all I had to cover for today. So I'm going to turn it over to Tammy or Stephanie.
Okay, Chico. I think next up we have Stephanie, who I've asked to share more about our web accessibility and things going on in her area.
Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to just give you a quick update from the instructional design and educational technology team. Had some changes in staffing over the last couple of Brandon was our instructional design assistant at Boulder County campus in a limited position. He's turned down to instructional design assistant at the Westminster campus into a permanent position. So we are happy to be able to keep Brandon on board with us. He also staffs the Boulder County Instructional Design Center along with George Hines, who is our instructional design assistant based at the Larimer campus. I would like to extend a welcome to Donna Hall. She will be joining us September 2nd as our Learning Management Systems Coordinator. This is the position previously held by Kristen Rivedal, and Donna will be joining us at the Westminster campus. Many may remember Donna. She did work with the online learning department, I think, for about 8 years. So she had been our faculty development coordinator as well as our LMS coordinator. So welcome to both those. I wanted to give you a quick update on the development of the web accessibility plan for Front Range Community College. Some folks may have heard this, the idea that the system president had come up with a policy on how the CCCS colleges would address the area of web accessibility. This plan was adopted in late April of 2014. And the graphic that you're seeing on the screen right now is a word made from all of the text that is in that policy. And the thing that really jumps out at me about this word is the word students. If you know anything about the way Wordle works, the times a word is used in a document, the larger that item becomes in the graphic that is created. So the accessibility plan is really about students. And as I give you a brief update today, I just want you to keep that idea in mind. What's the problem? Why do we want to be accessible? Interesting fact is that 20% of our internet users have some accessibility issue with online information. That can mean a variety of things. They could have
saying, you watch the game? Oh, absolutely. I try to walk.
So, Craig, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. I think you have just muted yourself. That, everybody. So that could mean that we have students with blind or low vision. They could have issues in colors on screen. We have students who are deaf or hard of hearing. We have students who have motor impairments and have a difficult time using a keyboard or a mouse. We have students who have difficulty reading. Assistive technologies have been developed to help these individuals navigate the web, but online content must be accessible for this type of technology to work correctly. Next, okay, that makes sense. Why do we want to be accessible? And I think the most important reason why we want to be accessible at Range Community College is, of course, the success of all of our learners, especially our student learners. Provide them with the tools that they need to be successful while they're here with us. This web accessibility applies to our Front Range website, which is going through an overhaul right now. It also relates to instructional materials. We are also looking at areas for employee resources as well as other online services that the college offers. We be accessible so that we're in compliance with federal requirements, since we do receive federal funding. And need to also be in compliance with our CCS President's Procedure on Web Accessibility. So that is the why piece. So what does this mean to us as a college? By December of 2014, so just around the corner, we have a plan developed that details how FRCC is going to conform to WCAG 2.0 AA standards. So a group of individuals from various capacities around the college that have thinking about what this plan is going to look like for Front Range Community College. And right now, if you're looking at the graphic, we're in the plan phase. Thinking about what goal is going to be to come up with this plan, what a budget might look like to implement a plan, who's going to be accountable, how are we going to deal with student accommodations that are made outside of the realm that we can handle. We're also looking into a self-assessment project in terms of how to really see in terms of instructional content, what we're looking at in terms of accessibility. From there, we're going to move into preparing materials to help individuals be successful, and third, into implementing our plan, which is going to be the conversion of materials, measuring our progress, and get this idea of creating and building accessibility into the online environment, into our workflow and our work practices. Couple of priorities that I want to leave you with this afternoon before I turn it over to Eric for you to keep in mind. We do want you to keep using technology to engage students. We want you to use audio. We want you to use video. We want to use tools you're comfortable
comfortable with in terms of engaging your students. We have heard some folks say that this accessibility plan means that we should back to text and only use text. We don't want you to think that way. We do want you to keep using technology. We need to know that we're here to support you in that use of technology and how we make that accessible. We need your help in determining the accessibility of our current content. This month or very early in September, you'll be receiving a survey via email that asks you to complete some questions to tell us a little bit about what our course shell looks like. We have many, many, many course shells, and we can't go in and look at all of them, but what we are interested in is hearing from our faculty instructors and having them tell us what they're using and how they're using, so we can figure out how to assist in making that content accessible. We will be doing a sampling of visiting identified individual courses, but again, we can't look at all of those individual course sections. And I want to leave you with the thought that we don't want you to panic about this idea of accessibility. There's simple things, or a lot of simple things that all faculty and instructors can do that get you 90% of the way there to accessibility in terms of your course materials. That only takes a matter of minutes. Using headings and bulleted lists and numbered lists when you're creating documents go a long way to helping us get to that accessibility piece. So it's really a lot of little things that help us reach that common goal. Anything else that you would like to add before I turn it over to Eric?
I know you did a great job providing an overview of all those areas. One of the questions that came up yesterday, so I'll answer it here, but then we will have time for more questions at the end. Asked, well, what videos do I need caption? I just wanted to highlight there that for things that are part of master course shells that are going to be used over and over again semester after semester, those types of things we'll want to work with you to get captioned, and especially if you're using, videos in your courses that you're purchasing from a or they're part of your textbook, those kind of things, want to make sure captioned ahead of time. But I know a lot of folks are using screencasts and other types of impromptu audio video to engage with students in real time, or on a quick sort of spontaneous basis. You might post a video at the beginning of every week saying, welcome to week 12, everybody did a great job in the assignment last week, here's some things that you might want to work on, or some areas, clarify some areas of confusion. Those that are specific to that course, that time, those particular students enrolled. And we don't need to go to steps of captioning those types of videos unless, and in your class who specifically needs that accommodation. And as Stephanie was talking about, we'll have a process in place so that someone needs that accommodation, we help you get those things right away. So let me turn it over to Eric. I want to make sure he has enough time for his section today, and then we can answer more questions at the end.
And amazingly, we are right on target in terms of time, which puts a lot of pressure on me, because I like to talk a lot. But let me start off by saying, again, welcome to a semester, and I'm looking forward to working with you as an instructional coach and in my new role as the online assessment specialist, and I'll definitely talk about that in a few minutes. I'm sending an email out next week. It'll include all the stuff I'm going to talk about now and more. So take notes if you want to, but don't feel like you have to copy down, URLs and whatnot.
Sound from Eric.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Back now.
Okay. I don't know if you heard me say everything I have here will go out in an email to you. So if you, that's okay. Please ask questions. Answer to the chat links to my blog and newsletter. So those will all be in an email. am still available this semester for online instructional coaching, and so please contact me. If you don't know what coaching is, it's for you to get me to help you meet the goals that you have for teaching and learning. So it's not telling you what you should do. It's me as a resource to help you investigate the sorts of things you already decided you want to do in your course. It's moving over your shoulder with your permission to help you get where you want to go. That can be a one-time thing. Sometimes someone just wants me to look at their course and answer, what do you think of this? Or I'm having this difficulty. This is what's going on. Take a look and give me some feedback. I'm happy to do that. Others have a project they want to work on, and they'd like me to look in their course or work with them over the course of several weeks. So if you and you want coaching, contact me. If you think it sounds interesting, but you don't have an idea, contact me. Evaluations, that initiative I've been pushing for the last many semesters. I will be encouraging everyone to allow me to create customized early evaluations for your course this semester. It's a way for you to get feedback from your students that comes directly to you and no one else looks at. I think it's also going to build a relationship with your students in terms of engagement. If you want to, use my email, take me up on my offer to let me build an early course evaluation for you. A lot of things to my blog, so you can always go to engagingideas.com and see things I've posted. Sometimes it's stuff I've presented myself or cool things I find on the net. If you don't want a website, if you're going to get to go there every once in a while, you can sign up for a newsletter, and it will send you through email everything I post on my blog. It's opt-in sort of a situation, so if you follow that URL that I posted to the chat, when I send you the email, if you take me on an offer to subscribe to my newsletter, you can opt in to get those emails, and you can unsubscribe anytime you want. Also, keep your eyes open for email a little bit later this semester about a project I'm working on called the Online Teaching Workshop. I was a President's Innovation Award to design and offer this second-tier training opportunity for online teachers. So I will be trying to recruit about 10 instructors, I'm going to say seasoned online instructors, folks who have had ministers of online teaching to work together as a cohort during spring semester to a variety of things and possibly develop some best practices. So more details on that later. I will only have room for a few folks. So I'm really just telling you about it now. So if you see an email, it's talking about the Online Teaching Workshop, you'll know what that means and read my email. I also have a new role this semester as the Online Assessment Specialist, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the next 5 minutes. Screenshot from my blog if you want to get a sense of what you'll find when you get there. Some stuff I posted last semester on focus in the classroom, stuff about community, whether it's as important as we think it is, etc. Full-time folks saw another version of what I'm going to present here in 4 minutes. So the first thing to say about the Student Learning Outcome Project is this is an initiative the entire college is working on. We've been working on for 5 or 6 years, but we are really implementing it in a big way starting right now this semester. We'll lead up to our next accreditation in about 3 years, but it will not stop there. So the beginning of a lot of stuff you're going to hear about the Student Learning Outcome Project. That is, if you have any questions, concerns, confusions, upset about anything, or you hear conflicting messages, or if you're in a conversation with someone and it's like they think something and you think something else from what you've heard, please contact me. I will either get the answer or we'll take your question back to the steering committee and make sure we find an answer. This is a huge project, so we just want to make sure we have a clear communication plan. We have these 5 learning outcomes that we have agreed on as a college that we want students to be able to accomplish by the time they graduate or complete a CTE program. Critical thinking, effective communication, information and technology literacy, qualitative reasoning, and personalism is so new it doesn't have an icon yet. So the Learning Outcome Project is really our college's way of systematically trying to actually see if we can measure and assess how our students master or attain those outcomes when they graduate or by the time they graduate. Project, a gen ed component is starting this semester, and I'll talk about that. A CE component that's also starting this semester. The CTE component will really be focused this semester on an academy where the E program will be really designing what the project will look like for CTE, and student services component. The same objectives, but each of these constituencies has slightly different needs, and so the plan is slightly different for each of them. Working on slopes. These student learning outcome project evaluations are really assignments specifically designed to measure one of the student learning outcomes. They used in all sections of an identified course, and they'll be using a rubric that was developed by the learning outcome team. Find rubrics on the intranet, and I'll also be emailing them out to you. These slope projects will use at least 2/3 of the skill components from the rubric, and we're starting this year. There are 2 student learning outcomes in 2 courses each. So we're focused now on high enrolled courses. This year, we're going to be trying to measure effective communication in COM 115 and History 101, and we don't COM 15 online right now, so we won't be doing that online. But CCC Online does offer it, and since our students take that class at CCC Online, we will be working with CC Online to see if they can measure this. And we're looking at critical thinking in Lit 115 and Philosophy 111. So these courses this semester, if you're teaching one of these courses, you've already heard about this. If not, talk to your lead instructor. I'll be working on implementing one of those slopes, a common assignment, and assessing this learning outcome this semester. We also open assessment, which is voluntary, focused on any of the student learning outcomes. Any could be a part of a rubric on one assignment. Doesn't have to be implemented college-wide. If you can assess, because any assessment idea fits into open assessment, what's related to a student learning outcome or not. Lots of support for you. I'm going to go about that. You've got me. There's going to be a D2L site. We're going to be having professional development workshops. Assessment specialist on each campus. I'm the person for online learning, but if you happen to be on one of the physical campuses, you can certainly to Monica, Catlin, or Chris about any questions or any ideas about assessment, and they'll point you in the right direction. We have an online learning team that so we have outcome mentors for each learning outcomes specifically devoted to helping us work on those outcomes. So Tony Heidemann is working on critical thinking. He's your go-to person for critical thinking. Chelsea is our effective communication person. Kay Novak is working on information and technology literacy. And Jerry Dade is our quantitative reading person, and we don't have a professionalism person yet. So you're hearing a lot more from our assessment team and online learning. We have a team of specifically devoted to helping online faculty and instructors do assessment around the student learning outcomes and beyond this year. And I'm out of time, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you about Assessapalooza. An assessment conference, a one-day conference coming up for October 24th. Check your email. If you look at your email from last week, you'll find one from Jerry, which talks about proposals being due. I want to present. If you have an idea about presenting, check it out. I'm going to stop right now so I can be on time, but please follow up with me on any questions about assessment or coaching. That's it.
Thank you, Eric, and our speakers. So we still have about 10 minutes for questions. Let's see, a couple from the chat, and then I'll answer those first, and then we'll open it up for others. Let's see. One question had to do with how our enrollment now with your same time. And from online courses, which is the statistics that I showed at the very beginning, we're at about 6,300 students enrolled as of yesterday. That's actually down about 7%, a little bit more from last year in online courses. But we're saying that enrollment in online courses as a whole, if you add Front Range Online and CCC Online, that is as a whole, if that makes sense. Interested in specific number of sections and those kinds of things, let me know and I will get that information for you. I just don't have it at my fingertips right now. But with 7% fewer students, there are fusions that we are able to run this semester. Posted from Fun about our seeing students moving from face-to-face to online. It's a really tricky question to answer. I know that's something that's been on for ever since online learning an option. One thing we have found is that we cancel a Front Range Online class or don't even offer a class through Front Range Online. But we do see big enrollment growth happen then on the campus section. But we've seen in cases where we are offering our own online course, we do see where students are choosing to take the CCC online section instead of taking a face-to-face course. So all of that is in which is our public speaking course. That's one where we had opted not to offer that for a variety of reasons, but CCC Online offers it, and any course that the college offers, if CCC has it, we have to provide that option for students. And so right now we have, since Front Range does not offer it, we do have 5 Front Range students taking that course through CCC Online. And so I think that provides opportunity for us to look at what we might want to have our faculty get more involved in different courses that we know students specifically want to take online. Again, that you see the overall trend, interest, clearly students wanting online courses. And for those who do want an online course, it appears that we can force them into a campus-based session by not doing it online. So hopefully it answers that question. Follow up on those or other questions I can address?
In the chat earlier asking, is orientation still mandatory for online students?
It is. Orientation is required for online students. We started that for the first time last year, and we have seen huge turnout from students and good response. Chico, do you want to add a few words about the orientation?
Answered it in the chat also, but yeah, we had a great turnout for orientation. We do call it required for taking an online class for the first time. The data from the fall semester, clearly students who outperformed students that did not do orientation. So on some data as well, but hopefully that trend continues, and we're a couple things to reach out to students who did not complete the orientation, who do not complete it for the fall. We're going to try and be a little more proactive to get them to participate if they haven't done it. Again, it's just for they're an online class for the first time. So, but it is out there for every student. Every college has access to it, and so it could be a good resource as well, kinds of things. If people are having trouble with that, you can always refer them there.
Got another question related to Connect Yard. Somebody asked, Heritage Teaching. Oh, I know there's a lot of questions now. Let's see. Yard again for the fall semester.
So Connect Yard was a pilot that tried for a couple semesters. We learned a lot through Connect Yard, being that students text messages. Very few students chose Facebook or Twitter to receive messages regarding school stuff via those avenues. But we're not continuing with Connect Yard right now, but we are using the information that we gained from it to move knowledge with other initiatives and how we might utilize text messaging specifically.
Now that is asking, is there movement towards more synchronous teaching or office hour options?
So in general, seems to be a movement towards more synchronous teaching. In our platform, we used to have, raising hands. So let's see, hopefully this won't do anything strange, but there is a little raise hand icon if your participant window open. If you click that, I'd be curious how many of you are using any sort of synchronous elements in your course right now, which would be typically something like WebEx, either for office hours or those kinds of things. You can see there are a few people, and I do think that is increasing. Kate Back, who's our instructional designer, focused in her special area is student engagement. I know definitely advocates for those synchronous opportunities where you get feedback right away. So I do see an increase in that, and there seems to be some benefits for students.
Here in the in-service, April was presenting and asked, can you address comments about Tribe to last January's student panel, which said that community and connectedness is not important? There's messages about the importance of community and online.
Well, talk about that in the sense that up to point, that point being I had to go to jury duty. The panel was presenting in January, but this had addressed the green team in the fall, which was kind of our model for setting that up and having the panel in January. What I suspect is happening is that the language is a little confusing because that student, and what I understood from folks that actually were there in January, the student really clear about wanting to have a sense of connection. Fellow students, maybe not as important as connection, feeling like I'm dealing with a real professor, I'm in a real class kind of a thing. So I think quite a bit from student to student how important their is, but I do think that it's absolutely critical, both in terms of what we hear from our students, what we see in research, and what the data supports, is that feeling to be seen, heard, and valued is important, whether we're dealing with those students face-to-face or whether we're dealing with them online. I think it's kind of like being able to be part of this group today, even though it's kind of synchronous and there's a whole lot of us, a whole lot of chat going on, there's a lot of connection going on, whether showing up, chat box or not, or whether you're speaking directly, we have the opportunity to be here as part of the group. So I think that maybe two concepts occur, and sometimes when particularly students who aren't as attuned to the nuances between what we're talking in terms of connection, engagement, and community, that feedback get a little confusing, but I don't think it negates the importance of those concepts. So, Rick, I know this is kind of a big thing that you are interested in and focused on, so if you want to jump in and add your comments, because, maybe something in January since I wasn't able to share, but those are thoughts.
First of all, I don't think we should make too much of, a few students and anecdotes on a panel. I mean, I definitely appreciated what those students had to say, but I'm not sure that we should take too much from 5 students, since we have, as Tammy pointed out, some 6,000 online students. Again, I just view is that community matters, but that students really community their engagement with their instructor in a way that the instructor provides meaningful opportunities and facilitates student community. So this is definitely something I'm really interested in. So if you're curious about it, probably more of the semester.
Okay, well, then for a minute, we are just at 1 o'clock, and so I wanted to let anyone know if you need to leave, feel free to do, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'll be here, we'll stay in for a few more minutes in case you have other questions. I did been trying to scroll through some of those announcements that we had at the beginning, and want to call your attention to the fact that that DWEL will be unavailable for a system-wide upgrade October 5th, 26th. So just to be sure to plan around that in terms of due dates and things like that. And have a great semester.